catch me live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, as well as other top social media platforms. So please like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. So I do have to give a quick shout out to sponsors of the show. First and foremost, Giovanni McCall, also known as G, the short-haired slayer, who keeps me slayed. Mina Martinez, who handles all of my social media marketing. And of course, London Consulting and Insurance Firm, who sponsors and powers this show. So every week, I do not disappoint. I always have great guests. And of course, I have a great guest today. I have Candus Rucker, who is a real estate broker and developer. She owns and operates Rucker Property Management Group, LLC, a full-service brokerage with a concentration in residential sales, property management, and development. Over the course of nearly 9 years as a full-time real estate professional, Candus has successfully redeveloped several properties ranging from single-family residential to quadplex, small apartment units. And also she is committed to her craft and is continually, looking to scale up her real estate development business with a mission to create quality, affordable, and safe housing within her local community here in Detroit. And she is also a proud member of Greater Detroit Realtors Association. Yeah. Thank you and good afternoon. Thanks for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm like, where do we start?
Let's go. I love your energy and everything, your personality and your grit and grind. Like, we really clicked right from the first time that
and I just want to say, you've been so helpful for me from this first time I met with you, introducing me to different resources. I don't even think you realized, because I was really new back in the city when I met you, but you were just pointing me in different directions with NARAB, and so I appreciate you being a resource for me.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But like I said, I just fell in love with your energy right from the get up, because what we shared in common is that we left this great city of Detroit, okay, and went elsewhere and made lives and established ourselves, but then brought that back. And that means so much, especially in the field of real estate, where you have the opportunity to see a different perspective, different styles, different developments, and then add it to your already created portfolio. So talk about that. Let's rewind and talk about what brought you back to Detroit.
Yeah, so I was in Dallas for 9 years, and I was a full-time licensed professional like I am now. So in 2020, and I don't want to be a downer or be sad, but this is my story, but in 2020, I lost both my parents.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. But my father died July 4th, and my mother passed, she got sick September 4th and passed September 14th of 2020. So at that time, you know, we're in COVID. It was not COVID related, but we were in COVID and things had stopped with the whole world. But when that happened to me, that was a very traumatic event. Absolutely. And my ideas and my thoughts were not to come back home. I really didn't want to come back home, especially because my parents had passed and I felt like my world was totally different. Yeah. But after a lot of prayer, a lot of seeking God, I worked all 2021, and God said, go home. And I'm like, go home? What am I going to go home to? You know, my parents are now gone. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm an entrepreneur. You know how it is being an entrepreneur. Yeah. You eat what you kill. That's right. You can't stop working. It's just is what it is. Yeah. And I'm the main provider for myself. Yeah. So I just continually worked, even while going through that grief and that trauma. Yeah. And so I just kept hearing God say, go back home, go back home, go back home. So in 2022, I decided to yield to God and go back home. And so that's what made me come back home. Now, I had a successful career. So a lot of people go home because, you know, it's just not working. Yeah. Well, I had been successful. I was a multi-million-dollar producing agent every year. I had a brokerage that was successful with property management. So I had a multi-million-dollar portfolio with my management companies, and then I was doing some real estate investing. I had just got into that, and that actually started going well. So it was a real fight for me to yield to God and say,
and
okay, I'm come home, and I'm like giving all this up, plus coming home to a place where my parents are no longer at.
So emotionally, on top of, you know, being already established, emotionally, that had to be a lot.
Very. It was a lot. And so I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan. I just knew I was a realtor. I was good at it. And I said, okay, I guess I'm going to start my real estate business here.
And that's a true boss.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. And I tried to plug into everything possible. And that's how I met you, because I was going to every event I could possibly think of that could put me in the right direction of what I'm supposed to be doing here, other than being a realtor, which I knew that God had more for me, but I just could not see it. You know, when you're going through so much trauma and you're relocating on top of dealing with the trauma of loss, it's hard to see, or even hard to hope, or even hard to believe. So for me, it was just like, I just said yes, and
you had to trust the process. See, we don't know exactly what the process is. That's where the trust comes in at.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, that's a word. We don't know what the process is. So how do you trust a process that you have no idea how it's going to turn out? I know I was comfortable in Dallas. I knew that was working for me.
Right.
So now I got to give that up and go into something that I have no idea
a different
how
territory.
It's going to look.
So let me ask you this. What was the real estate market like, or is like, in Dallas? You know, because when I lived in Dallas for a short time, and Fort Worth, and this was back in like the early 2000s. It was just so much, everything there looked new. You know, so what was it like?
That's how it was. Everything was new. I felt like when I moved to Dallas, I was like, I have arrived. And it was so much opportunity, and there's still a lot of opportunity there because everybody's moving to Dallas. Everybody has migrated there. So when it's more people, of course, it's more revenue. It's more opportunity to do more. And you can make more money. That's just the numbers. It's just a number thing. So in terms of the real estate market, I was able to do well because I had a good client. I built up a good client base. The homes were more expensive there at the time because everybody's moving there. It's saturated. So in terms of my business, I had a steady flow of business with my clients, but I had built that up, and the home values are higher. So I can do 2 sales and be good a month and be good. Here, sometimes, you know, although the values have went up, you might have to do double what you do in Dallas, to be honest. So for me, it was just a total switch in how people do business in Dallas as opposed compared to how they do business here in Detroit, and that was an adjustment as well.
Gotcha. So when you got here, we do have to do our quick shout out. Hey, you're watching Beauty and the D live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. So please like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. We have Candus Rucker here today, who is a real estate broker, professional, and developer. We're just going to say a real estate concierge. Okay. So she does it all. And we're going to talk about all of that. We got to try to fit it in such a short amount of time because you do so much with the short bio.
I'm like, hey, I was listening to the bio you read last week? Or
it could have been, yes, with Nicole Gilliard, the electrician.
Like, oh, she gonna look at my bio like, girl, if you don't take this somewhere.
And you do so much. Like, you modest though, but that's okay because we're gonna pull it out. We're gonna let them know, okay?
I was like, I ain't got no storybook for it, so
you're gonna tell the story here today.
Yeah.
So when you got to Detroit, right? So you pushing through the emotional piece of being here, and then you're putting on your professional hat. What did it look like for you? So like did you jump right in? Did you? So I know you were, networking and seeing what the city had to offer. What was like your first move to say, I'm back?
I jumped right in.
That's
I said,
what's up.
if I'm gonna be here and do it, I'm gonna do it big. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to go all in.
Okay.
And so my mission became, I need to acquire real estate. As when I came home, I'm looking like, all right, Detroit is on a resurgence. I don't know if people recognize that or realize that, but as you probably can attest to, when you move out of the city and you come back, you have a different perspective.
You do.
You have a different lens.
You do.
So when I came back home, although all the things that's going on, I'm like, it's opportunity here. I could buy way more houses here with the money I had than I could in Dallas, because it's more expensive. The point of entry is more expensive.
Yeah.
So when I moved back, I bought 3 properties. I bought a 4-plex, a 2 unit, and a single family home.
Okay.
And so that was like my introduction into doing the
welcome home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you live in either of those properties, or they
No.
were just strictly investments?
Strictly investment.
Okay.
So I bought the 4 unit from the county sale, the Wayne County Treasurer sale, and let me tell you, that was a blessing, because we buy on the auction. They do it every year, right? So they do it twice a year. So I had looked at over almost 800 houses online, because they give you the list. So they released the list. I focused on the zip codes that I was familiar with, and I looked at over 800 properties online that I looked on that list. I narrowed that down to 74 houses. I drove by all 74 of those houses. It took me a little over 2 weeks to drive by every one of the houses, because just because you see the house online doesn't mean it's still there,
right?
Or it's not burnt up,
right.
So you gotta check it.
Do your due diligence.
Yep. So another thing, when you buy off the auction, you cannot go inside of it. Legally, you cannot, because if you do it, it forfeits your opportunity to bid on the house. So all you're doing, you actually bidding blindly, because the only thing you can look at is the exterior of the home. So I looked at all 74, 76 of the houses. I narrowed that down to 18 homes. So I have a background, as we already discussed, in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. I know my numbers. I know how to
your comps.
evaluate. Yeah, I know my comps. I know how to evaluate deals. The only piece that I couldn't evaluate was how much it was going to cost to fix it, because I can't see it, right?
Right.
So I had narrowed it down to the 18 properties. I ran the rental comps and also the after repair value comps on all of those homes. I narrowed that down to 4 houses after that. And I bidded on 4 houses, and out of all the 4 houses I bid on, I only won the 4 unit, which I thought was crazy, because I bid significantly more on the other 3 houses, which were single family homes.
Wow.
And I got that house for, guess how much?
How much?
$17,500.
Wow. A 4 unit.
And it had tenants in it that were paying.
Stop.
They were paying. They had that place had a property manager on it. So I guess the person did not know they were in arrears, and they lost it. So when I got my deed back, because you got to get your deed before you can go on the property, I figured out that it had a property management company. So I called the property manager, like, hey, I want to, I'm the new owner. I like the keys and access. And I'm like, what? You're not the owner. Send us the deed. So I sent them my quit claim deed. And then the owner of the company immediately called me back, like, ma'am, I don't know how this happened. The owner is freaking out because they're losing their shirt on this. The owner will pay you double what you pay for it if you just sell the house back to them. And I was like, well, I would like to see the inside of the home first before, can I get access to it first? So he's like, okay. So they ended up giving me access to the home where I was able to walk it. And that's where I found the roof was newer, the HVAC, it had a hot water tank, and it was 2 paying tenants. And you wouldn't have thought it, because the bottom of the building is boarded up. But it was a tenant.
Really?
It was a tenant living in it. And
paying rent.
And she's like, I like it boarded up like this so people don't know I'm here. I'm like, what? But when I called the guy back, I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to sell it. And so that property ended up, I got it for $17,500. I ended up appraising for $275,000.
Wow. You hit a lick. Now that's how you
Huge
come
lick.
home. That's how you come back to Detroit.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
wonderful story. So I want to talk about this for a minute. The county auction. Can you tell us how often they have it, and how long did they give you to, because you looked at 74 properties total, right? So how long did you have to, from the time frame that you were able to look, bid, and then close?
Yeah, so they have it twice. So they have one in September, and then for all the other properties that didn't sell in the first go round, they do another one in October.
Okay.
So they released the list, I believe it was in August, late August they released it. So you at least have like a month to look at the list. And there's so many properties. So my advice to anybody would just be to pick zip codes that you're familiar with or that you want to invest in and focus on those, so that you don't get caught up in this big list of properties and you can't get to them all. So I only focused on areas that I was familiar with that I wanted to invest in, and so that's how I was able to kind of condense it.
Okay. All right. So they give you about a month to review that. Okay. I wonder, I'm just a little curious, how did that happen to the previous owner? Like, that's a heck of a story. How did they not know that they were losing, that they must own
Well,
a lot?
it was probably during the pandemic and it was so much going on, but typically the property manager company that you use are supposed to pay your taxes on your behalf, right? However, the owner told me that the owner opted not to have them take care of that. They wanted to do it on their own, and they just dropped the ball and forgot.
So you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you get what you pay. That's why it pays to get a licensed professional that can keep up with things. I know sometimes we don't want to pay that extra money, but that's a tip to anybody that's watching. Sometimes it's best, or most times, especially when somebody's dealing with your investment, to hire a professional, because it'll cost you later. You think you're saving, which you may save a couple of dollars, but it costs this lady hundreds of thousands of dollars to be honest.
Then look at what she lost just on the equity.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she had paid over $100 for it when she bought it.
Yeah. So, what is the website address for the county sale again?
So it is the Wayne County Treasurer. So if you just type in Wayne County Treasurer Office, what is the treasurer's name right now?
It is, oh gosh, because he's been on the show.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. It'll come back.
It's okay, but if you put in Wayne County Treasurer Office auction, it'll automatically pop up on your search. So just put in Wayne County Treasurer auction and you'll be able to see it and sign up. You have to register and sign up and create your account so that you're ready, because these are cash transactions, so you can't get a loan for them. You have to have your cash ready to move.
And your proof of funds.
Not proof of funds.
Oh, no?
No, they want you to just pay cash. So when you win, you have to wire them money or bring in a cashier check with the actual money.
And then how long does it take to get the deed?
It took me 30 days.
Okay.
30 days after I closed.
Okay. Cool. So what else is Candus doing as far as the property management company? Are you helping others manage their properties?
I am. So I am building, because in Dallas, I managed a little over 15 million in residential properties for other owners. Okay. So I sold my portfolio in Texas, so now I'm starting with a clean slate here. So apart from my own personal properties that I manage, I'm picking up clients now and really trying to aggressively market and gain more clients here. Okay.
So I've been seeing some things on your social media, like you promoting these different lenders and things that help developers. So what scale are you developing on? What are you doing now as far as the development world?
Right. So I'm doing a lot of, right now I'm what they call an emerging developer. So I'm managing those properties on a smaller scale. So we're doing 4-unit, an 8-unit that I'm working to secure, but also some land that I'm looking to develop, which is 5 parcels of land that's adjacent to my phase 1. So right now I have a multi-phase project that I'm working on, which is a 4-unit, and then it's 5 lots adjacent to my 4-unit, which I'm going to create a 26-unit senior apartment building.
Wow. How did you come up with that concept?
So dedicated to my parents. Okay. So all this is dedicated to, because as a kid, you always want to help your parents when they're old. You always want to be able to, my parents weren't, they could afford things, but as a kid, you always like, I want to do something nice for you. You love your parents. You only get one mom, you only get one dad. So my dream and my goal was always to be successful in the real estate space so I could do things for my parents and take care of them. So this is my effort to serve others that are seniors and impart my parents through this initiative by offering affordable housing for seniors and also low to moderate income, because my mom was a very loving, caring person. Okay. So my project's actually named after her, Lily Marie.
Okay. I was going to ask you, did it have a name? Lily Marie. What an awesome legacy to build. You go, girl. Yeah. So as far as funding for this project, what type of funding is available for this type of initiative? And do you have any partners?
So with my phase 1, I'm doing that on my own because it's a lower, it's a 4-unit, so it's not as much. My phase 2, I'm currently co-developing or seeking co-development partnership with, I don't know if you all are familiar with modular building. I think we visited.
I didn't go, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking to co-develop the 26-unit with Janasco Modular, which is a new modular facility, the only one in the state of Michigan, and it's basically homes that are built inside of a factory. It's like a puzzle. So they built 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and also they build studios. And so they do it all within the factory, and then they ship those homes like a puzzle to your site, and they put it together. They assemble it.
So even a 26 unit can be created that way.
Yeah. So I'm going through the process. I've already have some renderings of how that's going to look. Okay. So I already have some things in the making. But in terms of how to finance that, of course, in the city of Detroit, because we're in such an affordability type of deficit, they have a lot of programs. So they have city programs, they have state programs, and then they have some energy efficiency programs. So you have to be creative with financing and do what is called a capital stack. So we have our senior debt, we have grants, and we have our equity. So what money I'm bringing to the table to make it happen. And then co-developing, because I am co-developing this with someone else. The reason being mainly is because they have experience with going after MSHDA government funds. And typically when you're an emerging developer, they require you to have someone seasoned with you.
And that makes sense.
Right, to help you to get those funds.
Yeah.
So in order for me to even tap into the funding with MSHDA or any other entity that's given that type of money or resource, they want to see you attached with someone with more experience, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So that's how a partnership came about, and even having that discussion.
Wow, look at you. And all of this in a matter really of 2 years.
Yes.
Did you ever think that you would be in this space?
No.
Really? When you were trying to decide home or no?
I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what I was coming back home to, because I didn't want to come. I'm going to be honest, I cried. I cried like a baby because I was like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then, I have a lot of friends. I was in Dallas almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So I had built a life there. It wasn't like I was just there and then gone. I had like a life. Had a business, I had friends, I had a church family. So it was just like, everybody's like, you sure? I think it's grief. Are you sure? And so, when people tell you that, you like question yourself, like, is this God? Am I just grieving? Because sometimes when you're grieving, you can make decisions that aren't the best for you. So that's why it took me so long to even do it, because I was feeling this in 2021. but I didn't pull the trigger until 2022. And I just want to talk about the grace of God, because when when God tells you to do something, He'll still extend that grace until you can get yourself together.
Yeah.
And He's not like men where they like discard you. God will show you some grace.
Yeah.
He knew like it would be a little difficult for me to just up and move. So He allowed me some time to kind of wean into the idea of moving back home,
as well as to give you the confirmation.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you went there with that, because I do want to tie the spiritual journey into that. And even just talking about abundance, and how when we put forth the effort, God puts forth 3, 4, 10 more steps. You know what I mean? So tie that in, because you are a chaplain as well for our organization. So tie that spiritual piece into, actually, when did you have that awakening, that aha moment? Because a year is really not a lot of time, Candus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When did you have that aha moment spiritually to know, you know what, this is not grief, this is my path?
Because I was so in that decision, you know, when you be in a valley of decisions and you have no peace, and it just keeps coming back to you, like, why does this keep coming back? I already said, no, I'm not doing it. And it was like this constant inward going back and forth. And I had no peace, and I felt like I couldn't. Although I was moving, I felt like I couldn't move forward. And so when I said yes, it was like peace. I got perfect peace. And although I didn't understand what was going to happen next, I was like, as long as I feel this peace where I'm not, because you know, you have time when you wrestling, you in conflict with yourself, and you don't have no peace about it because you need to make a decision, and you going back and forth with it, and you trying to pacify by doing little things. Like I used to, like in 2021, I would come home like 2 weeks and then go back to Dallas. Like, I'm gonna live in both states. No, God let you do that for a minute too, but you're going to have to make a choice. You do. You know, it comes where the rubber meets the road, they say, and you got to make a choice. You got to pick a side.
Yeah, pick a side. And then that faith, too. So I'll share with you this. I lost my mom in 2012. And I was my mother's only child, right? So my whole life kind of revolved around, you know, and then I have London. So that was my life, you know, me, London, and my mother. So I took it really hard, and I threw myself into work, and believe it or not, that was like one of the best years I had. Mine too. Financially, professionally, you know, I became a lead sales rep for Liberty Mutual at the time. You know, I started making 6 figures. It was like, because I don't know, maybe that's how I dealt with my grief. And then I came from a mother who just had hard work ethic. So maybe that made me dig into myself and just, I don't know, but I pulled through. Not to say I didn't have, you know, breakdowns, and, you know, not to say I wasn't grieving, but I found the strength, into just working hard. And then fast forward 3 years later, I found myself moving to Atlanta, you know what I mean? And just trying to get a fresh start, and then bringing that business back here, you know. But yes, it will have you dig deep into yourself, and sometimes turn that pain into, you know,
make you or break you.
Yeah, because some people get broke, and they end up being alcoholics or dealing with it through, like you said, everybody deals with grief different. So I found it, you know, to just dig into that pain and just turn it into something that she would be proud of. So then now here I am building legacy with my daughter. So
because you won't stop honoring your parents. Don't stop at their death. You still gotta honor them. Honor your mother and your father.
That's what
it doesn't mean,
don't give you a timeline.
It don't mean, okay, they did, now stop honoring. No, you're honoring your mother's legacy. By being the best version of yourself, you know. So even when my parents passed in 2021, that was my best year in every area, like with my real estate, my sales, my property management, and my investments. And I really was not trying to go, but I still was not happy. Like I still was like, everybody's looking like, you're doing so well.
But you said the correct word, peace.
Yeah, I didn't have no peace, and it was like this thing, go home, go home, go home. And I'm like, no. But that pain will push you, and I think that's what I honestly am using now, even with my development. It's like, I don't care how many times I get rejected or
Yeah.
somebody doesn't see the vision that I see.
Yeah.
I'm doing this to honor my parents. And
Right.
it's going to be done whether hell come hell or high water, it's going to get done.
Right.
So, I mean, I have this, it gives you that tenacity where, like,
Yeah.
you just focus. Like, it don't
Yeah.
matter what people say because you know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to do. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't need nobody to cheerlead me or tell me nothing because I'm doing this for my parents.
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It all makes sense now.
It all makes
And
sense.
I'm just going to do it.
And just do it. So what's the time frame on this 26 unit building?
Yep, so we plan to start breaking ground next year in March. So the
Okay.
time frame is to take site control in August of this year and then to go through entitlement, meaning we're still getting our capital stack together.
Okay.
So with the honestly, we're probably going to have our entitlements all together by March. So we probably won't break ground till maybe the summer or late spring, to be honest.
Okay.
But my phase one, my plan is to break ground, to start the renovation on that project in July of this year.
Okay.
So that's a smaller project, but we'll get started on that one in July.
And so what will you do with that 4 unit?
So it's going to be affordable housing.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be 60% AMI affordable housing.
Okay.
So I want
To get those tax credits.
Yeah, yeah, that's how you got to do it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my
Building
goal,
wealth.
Yeah, my goal is just all about focusing on where the need is.
Yeah.
You know, that's how when you solve a problem, you know, whenever you solve a problem, that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Who can solve the bigger the problem, the more money that's available.
Yeah.
So right now it's an affordability crisis, and that's where I'm focused on. I was going to do it anyway, but it makes sense with my business model to focus on low to moderate income and seniors.
Absolutely, and they need it. And I love my seniors. I do. I volunteer with them like every other week.
They just be forgetting about the seniors, don't they?
They do, and they listen. A lot of these seniors, they spicy. They're different. You know what I mean? They're, I guess, what I would call progressive seniors. You know,
I love them.
Yeah, and they take care of themselves health wise. I see them; they out here getting they walk out, and that's how I end up volunteering with them. Like at the Sheffield Center, Fast Freddy is up there every Wednesday, showing them a new hustle.
Oh wow! I seen some playing tennis. I was like, look at them.
Yep.
Play.
Get out here.
Yeah.
They want to live. Hey, and so they need affordable housing to, to live.
We can't forget about them because they paved the way for us.
They absolutely
So
did.
why do we forget about them? Like they matter just as much as we do because they paved the way for us. They laid the foundation for us. So we need to honor them.
Absolutely.
By making sure they have quality, affordable housing. A lot of them are on fixed income, so that means that they don't have the income to keep up with the rate of inflation.
That's right.
You know, we
That's
at
right.
an all-time high with inflation.
With inflation, yes.
People working can barely pay their bill.
It's a battle at the grocery store,
Yeah.
and I only have a household of 2.
And you got to think about it. Like, do I need this?
Yes.
Can I wait till the next time around? Just
I need to get off bacon anyway.
I don't need that. Girl, I used to love my little Starbucks. I don't get it as much as I used to. I was like, girl, you're going to have to start drinking your coffee. Mix it up. So, but just imagine with the senior. They're on a fixed income.
And they have prescriptions and this and that. Yeah. So it costs to get old.
It do.
It really
costs
does.
to get old.
It costs to get old. So let's talk about, we talked about your professional life here. What is it like being back in Detroit? You know, Detroit is a different space than it was 10 years ago when you left. Talk about how you moving around, how you enjoy it here.
You know what? I feel like I'm a new person in the city. Like,
I know that
I'm
feeling.
10 years older, right? I done had 10 more years of experience. And then everybody, it's like we're the leaders of the city, or we're in the higher positions now, as opposed to when I left. It was like we were college, getting out of college and figuring it out. Now it's like, okay, now you're in the management position, senior position, leadership position. So for me, it's just kind of like a whole new world, because they've got communities and neighborhoods that used to be a place you did not want to go.
Yes, Southwest Detroit is one of them. I remember.
Even the North End.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Look
at the North End. It's popping.
Corktown. Like, I'm like, what is all of this?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like I'm approaching it as I'm a new person in the city. That's why I call myself the new Detroit realtor.
Yes,
because I'm
I love
in a
it.
new Detroit.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just the energy just surrounding the city right now. I keep telling everybody, like, the city is on a ride.
Look at the train station.
Yeah. Did you go?
I tried, because it's like a quarter mile from my office. It was so hectic getting through there. I was like, okay, I run this way every day. I got plenty of time to check it out. But I've been watching from when they start first putting the windows in. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
so beautiful.
It is.
Southwest, I see the people in Southwest claiming it like it's
yeah, we are. I'm technically a Southwester.
They're like, y'all come to Southwest and see what we have to offer. I'm like, it's Detroit. It's Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's so amazing what's happening in Southwest, and just the city in a whole. The energy is even different.
The energy is
like
so
hope,
different.
It's positive.
Yes, we got so much recognition during the Super Bowl draft. 700,000 people, no incidents.
People having fun. You know?
Spending money.
Yes.
Helping putting back into the
business.
Exactly. Putting back into our economy. Yes.
I love it.
So you love the energy here. You love the spirit, the development. It's like you're actually a part of the revitalization.
And that's amazing. You know, I think Detroit is a great place for emerging developers and also small businesses.
Yes, it is.
They have so much support available for small businesses and emerging developers. I'm like, you could make anything happen here right now. And it's opportunity, it's resources. I mean, I'm just going down. I see an opportunity. I'm like, let me sign up for that. You can sign up.
Me too. You know, I just, even if it's not relevant right now, it may be something I can circle back to later, but at least have it in my portfolio. That's what I'm consistently
most of the time it's free or very, very affordable.
A lot of it.
So it's like, why not?
Why not take advantage of these opportunities? Yes.
Yeah.
So what about your team? You are a broker. Do you have any agents working underneath you?
Not right now. So right now I have just a virtual property management assistant, and also a accountant that's virtual too. Okay. But eventually, do you see yourself growing a team with some agents? You know what? I see myself teaching. I've been finding myself.
That's a give back.
Yeah, it's like a give back, because I've always wanted to do. I always did financial literacy because with children, but now I'm finding with young women and even young men, like they're asking me these questions about investing in real estate and doing development, and I'm talking to them. I love it. I love to share the information. I love to tell them about my past. Sometimes I'm like, girl, are you talking too much? But they like,
no, and they're sucking it all in.
But they're just like, and I always like, tell me if I'm talking too much, because I know I can start carrying on, because I get so excited because I'm passionate about it. So I see myself like teaching women and young men like how to invest in real estate, how to do development, how to build wealth in our communities. I feel like Detroit is still very much so a blank canvas where we can really reimagine how we want our communities to look and what we want to put in them. It's a blank canvas. They tore down a lot of the house, so you can kind of make something happen. You just imagine. You just have to have the vision. So I want to, empower other people. Like I've always been empowered, so I'm not a gatekeeper, because everything I have has been given to me by somebody. So it's like, that's the least I could do is pour into somebody else the way somebody poured into me.
Absolutely. And that's what we all should do. Give back.
And don't feel no way about it. Don't feel no way about it. Give back, because what God has for that person or you or who, I don't know what God has for your life. That's not my job, but my job is to disperse the information. You take hold of it. You can run with it if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you want to hold on to it and let it marinate, you can too. But my job is to give and be a source or light to others, and let God do whatever's going to happen in their life, just like he doing whatever happened in my life. And I don't expect nobody to feel no way about what God's doing in my life, so why should I feel any way about somebody else, you know?
I just love your energy, Candus. That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? I'm going to put it out here. We need to partner up and do some things. Like, you know, when you're talking to these young other emerging developers, talk to them about, you know, protecting their risk.
Yeah.
You know, like, you got all this money invested out here. You got to insure it, protect it, and protect themselves.
And I love that about you, what you do, because it's so neat, and you educating people.
Yeah.
I really would love to collaborate and just do some sort of seminar or something.
And I need some coaching from you. Okay, as far as, because I see that in my near future, doing some development. I think that's going to be like maybe the next chapter for me. And so I would love to learn and suck up as many nuggets as you have to give. Like today, guys, she was here before me because she had a presentation on virtual, on Zoom or Teams. And what did that consist of really quick? Because you were doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, home buying. So home buyer readiness. So I'm all about ownership. Ownership is key.
Yes.
And so we are empowering people that are from all walks of life that want to buy a home, either for their family or for themselves, to get in the game. Like, we telling you, just get in the game if you can.
Get in the game.
And we're not trying to make you feel bad if you're not ready. But I feel like knowledge is power. The more you know, the more empowered you are to make better decisions. And you're educated to make wiser choices. So whenever chance I get to do a home buyer seminar, because I am, you know, I am a realtor, so I help a lot of people with their investment in terms of buying a house, looking
for the first time.
Yeah, first time home buyers, and I'm really big on education.
Do you talk to your renters, your tenants?
I do.
About and
I was having a conversation with someone else, like, I don't want to just have tenants. I feel like I'm no better than someone in a community that just takes the money from the people and don't give back. You know, for example, a liquor store. They come into the community, they suck the community dry. They don't reinvest in the community. They go to their neighborhood and they live their life with their family, sending their money to where they want it to go.
And they vote on zoning, as far as the same businesses that they plop every other corner in our neighborhood, they're voting against that in theirs.
Right. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
And they'll suck you dry and say that's just how they are. Like, that narrative needs to change.
Absolutely.
So I was like, well, I don't want to be like that, because that's how I was feeling. Although I am providing quality, affordable, safe housing, I don't want to perpetuate a cycle where they like, this is all you can do. I was like, no, this is not. This is a stepping stone. This is a place where you can have some stability. But I want you to begin to think about ownership.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And duplicate some of the things I've done. Yeah. So when you were in Dallas, were you affiliated with NARAB there?
Yes, I was.
Oh, talk about that. Talk about your chapter there.
That's how I knew immediately to come to the Detroit chapter, because I was in the Dallas chapter there, and I was active. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? So I immediately reached out. I don't know how I even found. I think it was who did I reach out to? I
believe it was Tanisha.
Yeah, it was Tanisha.
Yeah.
I reached out to Tanisha because that's when you guys were gearing up to do the developers conference.
Yeah.
So it was towards the end of 2022 when I reached out. And she was like, come over to this, because there was a lot of stuff going on around that. And when I went to the developer conference, I was like, I was sold. I was like, why is it not more people here? You know, because it's such great, rich information and so many resources. So once I got plugged into that and went to that developer conference that we had in Motor City, I was all in when it came to development. I was all in when it came to being a part of what's going on in the city.
Yep. Eric Sabri just came to me.
Yep, that's his name.
I wasn't going to let that one go. Oh, I had to
No, you were thinking about it. Oh, man.
I wasn't going to let that go.
Yep.
Our developers conference, it is amazing. We had people from really everywhere. Like, Detroit is the place, like you were saying earlier, like the new Detroit. And people want what's in our own backyard, and a lot of us are overlooking it. That's why I said that's like, I know for a fact will be the next phase and chapter for me will be development, because people want right now what we have, and a lot of us just overlook it, just take it for granted because we stuck in the old Detroit.
And I got so many people calling me, like from
other places,
from Texas, from Atlanta, Georgia. They want to invest here, and I'm like, wait a minute, you know.
But that's where your education piece comes in at.
And, Then I'm like, don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at them. Get in position. Position yourself to take advantage. We always want to get mad. Oh, they always come into our city.
The opportunity is here.
It's here. Position yourself.
Yeah, and with all the resources, there's really no excuse.
Yeah, because the city wants people from the city to invest.
Our mayor does.
Yeah, so they much prefer to have local residents to invest as opposed to people that are coming out. And I'm not knocking, I welcome it all in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying in terms of preference, I believe that the city does prefer for their citizens to reinvest in their communities that they live in, that they've lived in, you know.
And have time and money and blood and sweat invested in.
Yeah, you've been here. You've been through the ups and the downs. You might as well reap some of the benefits of what's going on in the city.
Especially with the first-time home buyer, that grant, that $25,000, it's real.
They suck that money up.
Yeah, 500 new homeowners in the city of Detroit.
Wow.
Thanks to that grant. So, and I hear that they're about to bring it back.
Yeah. So, everybody on the sideline waiting, like, when is it coming back? Yeah.
So, let me ask you this. How do you source for your new home buyers? Since you're not just property management and developing, you're selling homes too. How do you source?
So in terms of how I source, is a lot of my businesses come from social media.
Really?
Yeah. So I post, and then word of mouth, because I am from here, so I do have some friends and family that I've worked with in the past that, you know, say, hey, you back in town, want to work with you. So
how often do you go on social media to advertise?
I try to post every day.
Really?
I try to at least post once a day. Now, I don't always do it, but if you look at my social media, you'll see she at least is posting once a day, something.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try
to... Do you do blogs, or you just go live, or what do you do every day?
I have a marketing strategist that I've talked with. She said, you need to go live, Candus. That's where you're really going to get your engagement up. But I have like this thing about live and on camera. So the things that I do is I post a lot of pictures, a lot of little videos that I'm not on. You know, you can hear my voice, but I'm not in it. But they're like, you need to look at the camera and sit down.
I need to do that as well.
Yeah.
Even for this show, I need to, because I have bomb guests, period. I'm not trying to brag, but I do. You know, people that I consider major influencers, movers and shakers in the city are part of our new Detroit and revitalization. And I really need to promote that. You know, I'm guilty of it. It's not like I just had any old body on the show. Like, all of you guys are absolutely amazing guests and people. And I do need to do better with that. So I'm going to take a page out your book. At least try every other day.
If I can do it once a week, I will be doing good, because I'm not doing it at all.
Okay.
So if you do it, let's make that commitment. Hold
each other accountable. I love that.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it here live, guys. We're going to start doing better, because we have great information to give you all and pour.
At least once a week.
Yes. At least. So before we get out of here, this time goes by super fast, doesn't it?
We done? It's almost done?
We got only a couple of more minutes.
Wow.
So, real quick, what prompted you to leave I'm rewinding all the way back in reverse. Prompted you to leave the city in the first place and go to Dallas. And then after that will make this whole conversation like 360.
Okay. Yeah. So, in 2013, I was a banker at Chase.
Oh.
So that was my previous career path.
Okay.
In the banking industry. So I was a relationship banker and small business specialist with JP Morgan. And so I just felt like I needed some growth opportunity.
Okay.
And they had 3 positions open up in 3 different markets. So it was between Florida, Houston and Dallas, and I applied for those, and Dallas called me first.
Wow, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, and that's how
it was
happened.
like.
Yeah, I was like, one of y'all gonna pick me, and I heard a lot of great things about
Dallas,
Texas in general. So I'm like, let me go to Dallas. So they called me first. They were the first people to call me, and I just accepted the position. So I came to Dallas as a banker with Chase. That's how I got there.
And then how did you delve off over into real estate?
Because I was a small business specialist, so I seen all my business clients were seemed like real estate.
Okay.
And they would bring in 100K checks. These are commercial realtors though. And I'm like, what do you do for a living? And they're like, I'm in real estate. This person, I'm in real estate. I'm in real estate. And I've always loved real estate. And so I'm like, you know what? I know God would have me move to Dallas just to be a banker doing the same thing I was doing in Detroit. So I stepped out on faith. I quit my job. After being in Dallas for a year. I quit my job and I took the test the next day after the job for my real estate license. I didn't even have my license yet.
Stop.
I was scheduled to take my license the next day. So I took the licensing exam that following day and passed. And I was like, it was on.
Girl, you an OG.
Yeah. I'll walk in some faith, y'all.
I see. So, and that was a great way to tie this whole story together. I want to end on faith. Let's talk about you as your faith and being like a chaplain, because you do give good words, you give good prayers. Where does that come from? How often do you, let's talk about that. And do you post about faith?
You know what? I love God, and I don't think I would be the woman that I am or in the position that I'm in without my faith and without my prayer life. I've always believed in the power of prayer, and I would literally take, people might think it's weird, but I would literally spend a month in my home praying in my house.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't work. I would just be in my house praying all day.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in Dallas, I found God did a great work in me while I was in Dallas. Like, when you talk about renewing of the mind and a new creature in Christ Jesus, I feel like God really met me while I was in Dallas and was able to really refine me and build me up in my faith.
And took you away from everything you were familiar with. Yes.
And it was just me and God. And so for 9 years, you can imagine walking by faith, no family, no friends, and only having God to depend on. You get real acquainted real quick. So I developed a deep prayer life in Dallas when I was there, because I had some times where it was like, couldn't nothing get me through it but him. Yeah.
So you have had a wonderful life.
Yes,
you have, and it's getting even better, baby. Yes, look at you, about to make life better for other people, seniors. You're educating people, taking people on as new clients, showing them how to become homeowners, working with NARAB to increase Black home ownership in the city. Are you coming to the conference?
I won't be able to, just because of these projects and they're so intense.
I know, you can't get a few days away.
I'm actually going to some stuff, and then I have a house in Dallas, and I'm actually in the process. It's vacant, so I'm trying to get that together. So that's been a huge thing that I'm dealing with, and I have to go back from here to Dallas to visit.
Oh, you go back quite frequently.
Yeah, so I'm going back. I was just there last month.
Okay.
So I'm going back again, not this month, but the following month, hopefully to finish wrapping it up.
Yeah, okay.
Just dealing with that stuff. But I do plan, when the next one?
Well, we do 2 a year. The midwinter, that's usually like in February. And then the annual, which is late July, early August.
Yeah, because my other friend in Dallas is like, you coming? I'm like,
because it's in Enola. It's
yeah, she was like, you gonna be there? I was like, I don't think so.
And everybody is coming. They got Master P coming. They got Shantae Moore. They just
that's gonna be a party.
Lynn Whitfield.
Yeah.
Of course, the other one that hangs out with us all the time.
Is Drew Hill coming back?
I don't know. Drew Hill was coming. They were at the last one. They just keep adding to the list. So
I really adore our president.
Yes,
she's amazing.
Dr. Courtney Rose. She is
She is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, just yes.
She is doing some big things.
She really are. She really is. And so are you.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sharing your story with me. And our viewers, thanks for coming to work with me and teach me some things. And on one of those trips to Dallas, girl, I may have to zip on down there with you. Because it's been years since I've been to Dallas. I have some family there, my nephews and stuff.
Oh, you have family there?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they right out in Fort Worth.
Are you from Detroit?
They are. Well, my brother was from Detroit. The kids not necessarily, but their roots are here. But their dad
ain't look back.
No, he is since just deceased. But when he moved there, he didn't look back. That's how I knew so much about Dallas. He was like, "You got to come." I'll tell this quick story before we go. He had a house built there, and he had he was in the subdivisions, pretty much like the only African American in that subdivision, and he got the house on the corner. We called it the King of the Hill house.
The big block.
Yes, and he loved it and did not look back. I mean, he was a straight D boy, okay? But he loved Dallas. So I was in college when he had the house built, and he sent me a postcard, and on the front of the postcard, it had the picture of the house. And this was in like 96 when Tupac came out, and on the back, he had sent me, like I said, I was in college, so he sent me the Tupac double CD, and he put on the back of it, "Picture Me Rolling." So whenever I hear the Tupac song, "Picture Me Rolling," I think of my brother David, so rest in heaven. But that's that's how I got there. So that's my story of Dallas.
Yeah. That's your only sibling?
My only brother, yeah. So yes, that's my story of Dallas. He loved it, introduced me to Dallas. I fell in love with it. Everything was new, beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's still growing and buzzing.
Still growing. Wow. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you, Detroit, for watching Beauty and the D. We were live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and other top social media platforms. Please continue to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Thank you, Candus.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Oh my God! Before we go, Candus, you got to drop your information. How can people contact you?
So yes, you can follow me on social media, Candus Rucker. That's with the U, Candus Rucker. And then on social media, Instagram, it's the New Detroit Realtor. So follow me either by using my name or the New Detroit Realtor tagline, and you should find me. I should pop up. And again, it's Candus with the U, because a lot of people don't, spell it that way. So.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next Saturday and every Saturday live from 1 to 2. Beauty and the D.